The course is called ELE 2000. It's the first professional course in the sequence for teacher education for elementary and middle level students. And it's called School and Society, and it's a broad overview of the field of education. One of the requirements for the course is that they have the opportunity to go out and observe in schools. And so we put together at the beginning of the semester, we collaborate with local school districts, and they allow our students to go in and do these observation times. And so we set up schedules. The teachers provide us their schedules when they would be available to have our students come in to do that. My graduate assistant will, every week, types out the teacher's schedules, what time slots are available, and we put them on clipboards.
And I had to create these spreadsheets every week for the teachers because the schedule would change periodically because of field trips or holidays. And so every week was going to be different. There was 15 teachers. So every Monday, that's what I would do. I would come in and do that spreadsheet, put them on the clipboards, take them to class.
And I'm in the auditorium in Buzzard, and I usually have around 120 students per semester. So it's a lot of students. And so we spread the clipboards out. And so what they would do is they would come up with their phones or planners or whatever they were going to, and they'd have to look at the various clipboards to find out what times were available that would match with their schedule so that they could go out and do these observation hours.
With the clipboards, yeah, definitely it was chaotic because everybody's up there trying to scramble for the same, for, you know what I mean, teachers that they haven't had yet. And it's just a whole lot of hoping you get there first come, first serve.
So you had to get to class on time in order to try to get a time that was going to accommodate you. And so it was a bit of a headache because if you didn't get to class before it started, you probably weren't going to get the slot you wanted.
I mean, literally, it would be crowds of people coming up to the front of the auditorium, grabbing different clipboards, trying to figure out trying to share, trying to find rides. If they didn't have a vehicle, they were trying to coordinate schedules with each other and all of that. It was chaotic is a nice word. And it cut into class time because, especially at the beginning when they were, doing a lot of that, and then we would have to stay after class and do all that. And it was working, but it was laborious.
And I thought, as the students were gathered around all these clipboards every class period, I thought, this looks like the internet to me. This looks like all these people from all over the world gather around small bits of information. And then it dawned on me, why can't we do this online? So that's when I went to Dr. Dale and I said, if I could figure out a way to do this online, would you be open to that? And she said, sure. I'm not sure it can be done, but yeah. So I just got online, looked up CATS, found the person I thought would probably be the one to contact, and that was Danny Harvey. And I shot him an email, told him what we were thinking about, and if it was even possible, in the realm of possibility. And he got back to me probably that same day. And then within another couple days, he was at my desk looking at the clipboards and thinking about what could be done.
Basically, in the email, she was telling me this is what they wanted to do. Have an online registration system for student observation in classrooms. And fortunately, I've done several other projects that are close. It would be close to this. I have a number of systems online here at EIU for registering for workshops in various departments.
So I would say, this is what we need, and he'd go back and do something and send me a link, or I would go to his desk and he would show me what he had, and I was amazed. It's like whatever I could think of, he could figure out.
So I said, well, give me maybe a week or two, and so I would come up. In that first week or two, I came up with a first draft of the project, and from that point on, it was okay. Come up with something, let them work with it, and see how it would work or not work, and then based on their feedback, make additional modifications to the app. The entire system, as far as what the student sees, is a series of web forms and web interfaces.
From the student's perspective, they just have to sign in using their EIU ID, and then they see a place where they can view time slots, and they can choose if they want to look at a school and all the teachers available during that week for the school, or they could look at a particular teacher and all of that teacher's time slots for that particular week. And then there's 2 slots for every time period for a teacher. So 2 students can see a teacher at the same time.
And then once you go on there, it's organized where you click the school that you specifically want to look at, and you click the teacher that you specifically would like to see. So that was great too, because I could only go on Fridays. So it was easy. Instead of having to jog through all of those different days and dates and grades, I could easily just click, I want to go on Friday, I want 5th grade, and I want Mr. So-and-so.
And once they click on that, it becomes theirs. You know, they have signed up for that spot, and it shows up in their current registration page where everything they've signed up this semester is listed with the teacher's name, the room number, the school, the time and date, and then a link with where the school's name is. There's a hot link to Google Maps so that they can access it while they're on the road, while they're standing in the hallway at the school, whatever, to figure out where they're supposed to be, and it's very handy. That was Danny's idea. I didn't even think of that one. So.
They also developed an app, and so that the students could because most of them, use their phones, and so they could just simply click on that and it would automatically go to that registration page. And the day that Jena announced or put up on the screen how to access the app, I probably had 75% of my students in that huge auditorium whip out their phones at that moment and do it, and there was a collective wow.
And Jena told me that the first day that the app was launched and they demonstrated it to the students, some of the students actually clapped and cheered. I guess it seemed like a better alternative than everybody running up and filling out those clipboards.
A lot of people were laughing because they couldn't believe they could do it on their cell phone. They couldn't believe it was an app that they could just go into to get to to sign in and to use that calendar sort of thing.
And they even had it for, iPhones and then your Androids. So both people could get the app without having to worry about, well, I have an iPhone. And then one girl in our classroom actually did it while we were sitting there. And she said it worked. So I didn't use it on my phone. I just did it on the computer. But I did download the app eventually, and I checked for the school, which school I was supposed to go to that day. So it was convenient. Like, say you forgot to write it down, it's in your phone. So you don't forget your phone.
Everyone is just thrilled with it and amazed by it, which is a little bit surprising to me because it just seems so natural. Like, why wouldn't you do this online? But I'm really glad that it's helped everybody and that they love it. As far as how well it's performed compared to the other, it's like night and day. The students have the opportunity to take care of their own problems. They don't have to contact us with, I forgot something, where is that, what's the class room number. It's all online. They can access it themselves. They can set up their own calendar if they want, to remind themselves of dates and times. So it's taken a lot of the paperwork, the busy work off of our shoulders and put it onto theirs in a much cleaner, more usable way.
From a professor point of view, one of the things that it has done is given me back my full 50 minutes. Because previously, with all, when they were all coming up on the stage and I would let them, do what they needed to do, and sometimes it was like 10 minutes into the class period, but I wanted them to have that opportunity to sign up, and so my class period kept getting cut into by having to do all this. So now I have the full 50 minutes for class, which I really, from a professor point of view, I really appreciate. The
biggest advantage is the personalization of it. It's the fact that you can be in your room and find it and take the time and get your planner right here next to you and literally look through and see, okay, I can go on this day, and be able to just be on that computer and just look at it right there versus trying to figure it all out before you get to class.
Now, we can just, I'm watching the game or something and I can just do it on my phone really fast and then go to class, and we have all that time back to go through what we need to do.
I like it that I can have it set up at the beginning of the semester and then just let it run itself instead of constantly doing the same details over and over again every week.
It promotes professionalism because, again, the students take ownership of that. It's helping them to develop positive dispositions. The charts that are going to the teachers are very professional looking compared to what they looked like before. It's a huge difference. And the students take responsibility for it. It's not so much myself or my GA having to fill in the gaps or whatever, that the students truly take ownership of that, and that the technology is allowing us to give those students those opportunities to become more independent, to really start taking on the role of thinking like a teacher, that whole professionalism, that whole disposition thing. And the technology is allowing us to foster that, and I'm very, very thankful for that.